Hello from Canada. I'm Dr. David Boyd, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and the Environment. And I'm really delighted to be joining you today at the Youth Flyway Forum for this session on environmental justice and empowering marginalized youth. What a critically important topic. Let me say at the outset that whether we live in different parts of the world, whether we have different religions, different colors of the skin, we have one critically important thing in common, and that is that we all share this beautiful blue-green earth and are fortunate to call it our home. We share this earth with literally millions of other species, and yet we share DNA, the basic building block of life, with every single one of those other species. So nature is really not a commodity that's put on earth for humans to exploit. Nature is a community to which we are all incredibly fortunate to belong. When we talk about environmental justice, there's one particular concept that is really at the heart of this environmental justice, and that is the right of everyone, everywhere, to live in a safe, clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. This fundamental human right is now recognized by more than 150 countries around the world, which is really encouraging. But there is a gap between those words on paper and the implementation of these rights on the ground. The right to a healthy environment includes clean air, safe and sufficient water, healthy and nutritious food, a safe climate, non-toxic environments in which people can live, work, study, and play, and last but not least, healthy ecosystems and biodiversity. Without healthy ecosystems and biodiversity, there would be no clean air to breathe, no safe water to drink, no nutritious food to eat. And we are in the midst of what scientists call the sixth mass extinction in the billions of years of life on planet Earth. Really a dark time in terms of biological diversity. We know that biodiversity's decline is also having really substantial and serious impacts on human rights, on the right to life, the right to health, the right to water, the right to food, and the right to a healthy environment. I'll give you one example, and that is that we know that the destruction of coastal mangrove ecosystems, these incredible forest wetland complexes, actually increases the risk that people will die when those coastlines are hit by tropical storms. And science studies have been done that prove if you have healthy ecosystems, healthy mangroves in place, people will not actually die in those storms. So that's one example of how the right to life is impacted by the decline of ecosystems and biodiversity. And when we turn to the impacts of these changes, they are felt most acutely by marginalized and vulnerable people, indigenous people, people living in poverty, women, children, persons with disabilities. And despite the disproportionate impacts of biodiversity loss on these vulnerable populations, at the same time, these are the very people who we have so much to learn from, who can be such leaders in the conservation, preservation, and sustainable use of biodiversity going forward. And we're seeing this all around the world. There's now clear and compelling evidence that lands which are owned or managed by indigenous peoples have higher levels of biological diversity, healthier forests, greater levels of carbon storage. And so going forward, as we work to protect the incredible diversity of life on this planet, one of the best ways we can do that is to empower these marginalized communities and marginalized individuals. Give them the information they need. Enable them to participate in decision-making that affects their local environment, and give them access to the justice system so that they can get effective remedies if their rights are being threatened or violated. And young people all around the world are already right at the forefront of taking action to protect this beautiful planet that we all are so lucky to call home. Incredible examples. For example, in Mexico, a group of young people filed a lawsuit based on their constitutional right to a healthy environment that stopped a tourism development that would have destroyed a mangrove ecosystem. In Colombia, a group of young people got together, filed a lawsuit, again, based on their right to live in a healthy environment, and they succeeded in a case decided by the Supreme Court of Colombia, which ordered the government to stop deforestation in the Colombian portion of the Amazon rainforest. The millions of young people that took to the streets last year as part of the school strike movement, calling for action on climate change, we need to see that same kind of activism and that kind of mobilization to address the global biodiversity crisis. And so I think it's absolutely critical, as I said, that we recognize everyone's right to a healthy environment and that we empower young people who have such passion, who have such eloquence, whose future we are really talking about, to take action. I'm part of the Children's Environmental Rights Initiative, which is a global effort to bring children together and to amplify their voices. We've had extraordinary meetings with young people in Latin America. We had a meeting in Bogota last year. We had a meeting in Jakarta last year. And so I have had the great pleasure of meeting hundreds and hundreds of young people during my work as the UN Special Rapporteur. And I can tell you this, you are all heroes for the planet. And I look forward to working with all of you in the future. Thank you for the work you're doing, and take care, stay healthy, and good luck with your activism to protect this beautiful earth. Thank you.